The patriarchs had all the normal family problems that most of us experience. It seems there's always trouble in the human sphere. Someone we don't get along with, someone who brings trouble of some kind. Yet in the midst of troubles there's faith. Is there also faith in us? Let's look at Genesis 26. Did God now begin to deal directly with Isaac? Did God want to bless him? Now there was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. And the Lord appeared to him, and said, "Don't go down to Egypt. Stay in the land of which I shall tell you. Live for a time in this land, and I'll be with you and bless you. For to you and your descendants I'll give all these lands, and I'll establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham." What were God's promises to Isaac? Was his seed or offspring, singular, to bless all nations. "I'll make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. I will give them all these lands, and through your offspring or seed, singular, all nations on earth will be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees, and my instructions." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. Did Isaac repeat the same sin of deception as Abraham? Do particular weaknesses run in families? And the men of the place asked about his wife, and he said, "She's my sister." For he was afraid to say, "She's my wife," because he thought lest the men of the place kill me for Rebekah, because she's beautiful to behold. Now it came to pass, when he'd been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked through a window and saw, and there was Isaac, showing endearment to Rebekah his wife. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Quite obviously she's your wife, so how could you say she's my sister?" Isaac said to him, "Because I said lest I die on account of her." What did Abimelech proclaim? Does it seem like they had greater morality than many people of our times? "How could you do this to us?" Abimelech exclaimed. "One of my people might easily have taken your wife and slept with her, and you would have made us guilty of great sin." Then Abimelech issued a public proclamation: "Anyone who touches this man or his wife will be put to death." Was Abimelech afraid of Isaac's might? What did they do to Abraham's wells? Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100 times what he planted. Yahweh blessed him. The man grew great and grew more and more until he became very great. He had possessions of flocks, possessions of herds, and a great household. The Philistines envied him. Now all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped and filled with earth. Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you're much mightier than we." Were there further disputes over well water? Did Isaac finally find a solution? So Isaac moved away from there, camped in the valley of Gerar, and lived there. Isaac dug out certain wells that were dug during the lifetime of his father Abraham. The Philistines had closed them up after Abraham's death. Isaac gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug wells in the valley and found a well there with fresh water. Isaac's shepherds argued with Gerar's shepherds, each claiming, "This is our water." So Isaac named the well Esek, because they quarreled with him. They dug another well and argued about it too, so he named it Sitnah. He left there and dug another well, but they didn't argue about it, so he named it Rehoboth, and said, "Now the Lord has made an open space for us, and has made us fertile in the land." was God beginning to develop a relationship with Isaac as he had with Abraham. Isaac went on to Beersheba, where the Lord appeared to him that night and told him, "Don't be afraid. I'm the God who was worshipped by your father Abraham, my servant. I'll be with you and bless you, and because of Abraham I'll give you many descendants." Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. Then he set up camp, and his servants started digging a well. What did Abimelech want with Isaac? Were God's blessings obvious? Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar with his friend Achuzat and Pichol, the commander of his army. Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, even though you were unfriendly and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw very clearly that the Lord has been with you." So he said, "Let there be an oath between us. Let's make a pact between ourselves and you, that you will not harm us, just as we've not caused you offense, but have done you nothing but good, and sent you on your way in peace. Now you are blessed by the Lord." How did Beersheba get its name? Was it named after the oath of peace between two clans? So he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. In the morning they rose early and exchanged oaths, and Isaac sent them on their way, and they departed from him in peace. That same day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well that they had dug, and said to him, "We've found water." He called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. Who did Esau choose to marry? How did this affect his parents? When Esau was 40 years old, he took as his wives Judith, daughter of Beeri, the Hittite, and Basemath, daughter of Elon, the Hittite. They made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. The patriarchs had all the normal family problems that most of us experience. It seems there's always trouble in the human sphere, someone we don't get along with, someone who brings trouble of some kind. Yet in the midst of troubles, there's also faith. Is there also faith in us? Do others see very clearly that the Lord has been with us? You decide.